Hi, I'm Bill Hurley, owner of Bill Hurley Lures. We'd appreciate it if you check out our YouTube channel. It's Monday and Thursday is when we put up a new video, so subscribe and like what you see. Also, if you'd like to check out our lures, you can find them at codandstriperlures.com. That's where we manufacture and sell our lures. Today's topic is going to be braided line. First off, what is braided line? Braided line is a combination of multiple lines, 4, 8, 12, or 16, typically made from Dacron or Spectra to produce one line. They're also called super lines. The plus side is it has zero stretch. You'll feel the fish right away. There are a few downsides. We'll talk about those in a minute. All right, the first key is choosing your braided line. So the first thing you're going to look for is that number 8. That'll tell you that it's 8 strands. 8 strands is kind of right in the middle, so that's what I use. It's my personal preference. All these different lines, actually, you might have to look for the 8. You can see it here, but it's a little, not so clear. So you got to look for it. Some won't have a number on it. I advise you to stay away from those particular brands that won't post the number of strands. Typically those are 4, and those are a little more susceptible to issues down the road. The second tip is you're going to need to connect your line, your braided line to your lure. And how you do that, first thing you do is you tie on a barrel swivel like you see here. I like to use the improved clinch knot, and then I use a little bit of glue to tie in that knot once I'm done. Next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to use some fluorocarbon leader like you see here. This is quite important, so pick up some fluorocarbon. It's not that expensive, and again, use some glue to help secure those knots. Now, these are just tips that I have. You can go to YouTube, you can look around on the internet, and you'll find quite a bit about braided lines. But my next tip is how I rig my reels. So you can see this is just, one of my reels that I use. I actually have quite a few of these, and it has a yellow line. But I use so much different lines that I have to color code. So I color code the foot of my reels. So this one here is a 12, and the one I just showed there is a 30. So that's a pretty big difference. Another thing that you're going to need to do is on the rod, it's going to have a line rating. You never want to exceed the line rating of the rod with braid. My advice is go 5 pounds lower than the rod rating, because you can break your fishing pole with braided line, especially if you have a tight drag. All right, the last thing about braided line is there is a downside. Downside of braided line is what's called a wind knot. You'll cast out and you'll look down and you'll see a knot in your line. You'll see a loop and it'll be tied together with a knot. Those are called wind knots. How to avoid wind knots? What you need to do is keep an eye on your line. Make sure you keep the loops out of your line. The second thing is you want to rotate your line once a year at least. Third thing is if you're fishing salt water, you're going to want to rinse those lines, get the salt off. It'll help reduce the amount of wind knots that you have. So that's a little bit about braided lines. Bill Hurley Lures. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Again, we post every Monday and Thursday. God bless, and please support our veterans. Thank you very much.